Aspects.
Y'all nigga just found out who I be, who I am on the block, man. I am that nigga, I am that nigga. Believe me, I got stacks, nigga. And if you want it, I got sack, nigga. Anything you want, all the perfect work. Get your cash up, pockets hurtin'. Why? Cause your pockets be swollen. Y'all can't stop think, I never been joking. This ain't funny, but it's making me laugh, cause it's about that money. How many want it? How many got it? How many want it? How many got it? How many want it? How many got it? How many want it? Want it? How many got it? How many want it? How many got it? How many want it? How many got it? Hey nigga, you don't want no problems with me. I move through your streets like a kid clean. A-T-H-I-N-K. Hit your block, making money while pulling the trigger for the chopper to spray. You ain't heard about me? Ring shots in your head like John Doe. Nigga, you don't know about the rocks I've sold. Real shit, it's real. Pay attention to the tempo of your pulse from the self. Real and authentic. You to have enough real niggas. Niggas is real and so real. Hit you with a thrill. Ski mask all black, full of tat, fresh and clean. My nigga with my goblet, hunting holes in these dreams. Take a shot from the team, never green, head high. Off the chain, my nigga keep it in the How many want it? How many want it? How many got it? How many want it? How many got it? How many want it? Want it? How many got it? How many 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 want it? Want it? How many got it? It's a nigga telling thing, I'm off the chain. Bustin' a nigga brain, it's in the game. Hustling, cause I'm struggling, trying to make it. But a nigga be faking, participation, better that. We ain't gotta carry, yet we hustling. Whole niggas in the background, tussling. Hitting for 100 G's, it's civilized, so I'm taking niggas' IDs. If I hear any information out on the streets, I'm paying you a visit like the Grand Reaper. Killing your whole family like the street sweeper. And your girl, trust me, you ain't gon' see her. So I'm on the block, hustling, muscling, fucking it around. How many want it? How many got it? How many want it? How many got it? How many want it? How many got it? How many want it? Want it? How many got it? How many 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 want it? Want it? How many got it? How many 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 want it? Want it? How many got it? How many 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 want it? Want it? How many got it? Yeah, T-H-I-N-K, I'm at you again. Yo, what they do? So pound, what they do? One time for my nigga Patrick Brutus. Yeah, this your boy Think, T-H-I-N-K. Elijah, aka Think, you already know. I'm a federal hustler from the gutter. What makes you think I won't murder your mother? Too many times you drop dimes on us. Now it's time to bring back.